Today's lesson, 10.2, is on volume of triangular prisms and pyramids. We've been talking about the volume of rectangular prisms and pyramids. Before we get started, I just want to show you two models. The first one is a prism, and the second one is a pyramid. They're both triangular. This is a triangular prism, and the one on the right is a triangular pyramid. So let's just look at the differences real quick. You'll see that a prism has two bases, one on top, one on bottom. These two bases are congruent, same size, same shape. They're triangular, which names it, so this is a triangular prism, and they're parallel to each other. Okay, they're the same distance apart. The sides are still rectangular. That's what makes it a prism as well. And the difference between the two, this base is also a triangle. It names it. It's triangular, but it's a pyramid because it comes to a point. So it only has one base. So this one has two, one on bottom and one on top. This one only has one, and it comes to a point. That's the vertex, and the sides are triangular. Okay, so we're going to be finding the volume of both of these. We're starting with the prism, and just so you can connect this model to the formula, when you're finding volume, it's the space inside. So when you're finding the volume, the capital B, you saw this in your last video, is the area of the base. That means the inside of my base. So if I were to fill in this this triangle, that is the area of the base. And then if you imagine that you're stacking all these little triangles together to see how much space is inside this prism, that's why we multiply the area of the base times the height. So that's what we're going to be doing in this lesson. In example 1, we're finding the volume of this triangular pyramid. Step 1 is to find the area of the triangular base. So the formula for area of a triangle is half of the base times the height, because our base is triangular. So our base is 8, our height is 3, so we'll be taking half of 8 times 3 is 24. Well, taking half of 24, you'll see, is the same thing as dividing by 2, because if I put 24 over 1 and I end up doing top times top, bottom times bottom, well, I'm just cutting 24 in half. So the area of the triangle is going to be 12 feet squared. So since we're talking about area, okay, remember that that's still in units squared. Now step 2 is asking us to now find the volume of the triangular prism by plugging into the formula. So always start with your formula. V equals, the capital B stands for the area of the base, which is what we just found, the 12. And so we're going to multiply our 12 times the height, which the height of our triangular prism is 7. So we're just going to multiply 12 times 7, which is 84 feet. And now you could put the cubed on the unit. Not on the number, but on the unit, because they're cubic feet. On the reflection, it's asking, suppose you know the volume V and the base area B of a triangular prism, how could you find the height of the prism? Well, if I was solving my formula for the height, remember your goal is to isolate that variable, the h. You want to get it by itself. So you do the opposite of multiplying by the area of the base. You're going to divide by the area of the base. And whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So these two would cancel, and the height would equal the volume divided by the area of the base. So that's exactly what you're going to write on this line. I want you to write with me, divide the volume by the area of the base. in the Your Turn, it's asking you to find the volume of a garden seat in the shape of a triangular prism with a height of 30 inches and a base area of 72 inches squared. So start with your formula, show your plugin, show all your work, and let's see how you do. Pause your video. All right. You should have started with your formula. I'm going to show my work off to this side. V equals B times H. In this case, they already told you what the base area was, so you didn't have to use your area of a triangle formula. So you're just plugging in the 72 inches squared times your height, which is 30, so you should have shown your plugin. You should have multiplied 72 times 30, and you should have shown that work off to the side as well. So your answer should have been V equals 1,260, and that is inches cubed. So the volume of the garden seat was 1,260 inches cubed. Okay, turn your notes over. So on the back, they bring in the pyramid. Okay, so we just worked with volume of a prism. Now we are going to be solving for volume of a pyramid in this example. So the model I showed you, remember it goes to 1 point, and so this is our prism and this is our pyramid. It tells you up at the top that you will be using the volume formulas you have learned. You're also going to need the formula for the area of a triangle because our base is a triangle. In example 2, there's a typo. So I just want to point out that you need to cross out, let's cross out this first triangular pyramid because I accidentally typed it twice. Okay, so in example 2 it says, Mr. Martinez is building wooden shapes for a sculpture in the park. His plans show a triangular pyramid and a triangular prism, and each shape is 5 feet high. The base of each shape is a triangle with a base of 2.5 feet and a height of 2 feet. How much greater is the volume of the pyramid than the volume of the prism? So we're going to highlight what's important in this problem. First of all, we're talking about a pyramid and a prism. Okay, so he's going to build a sculpture. He has plans for both. Each shape is 5 feet high, so they both have a height of 5 feet, and it shows that here. The base of each shape is 2.5 feet, and the height is 2 feet. So now they're talking about the triangle's height, the base of the triangle's height, and the base of the triangle. So how much greater is the volume of the pyramid than the volume of the prism? So we need both volumes in order to compare the two. Step 1 is asking us to first find, since the triangular base is the same for both shapes, they're asking us to first find the area of the base, the capital B. So remember that that's a triangle formula, and that's why they warned you up here. We're going to need that. So 1/2 base times height, which is on your star chart as well. 1/2, if I plug in the base of my triangle, that's the 2.5, same on both, 2.5, times the height of my triangle. Well, the height on our bases, they're the same, it's 2. Then I have to multiply these together. So you know that 2.5 times 2 is 5. And you know that 1/2 of 5 is 2.5. So the area of my base, the triangular base of both of these shapes, is 2.5 feet squared. So step 2 is going to be to first find the volume of the prism. So the volume of a prism formula is capital B times the H, area of our base, which we already know is 2.5, so we're going to plug in our 2.5, times the height of our prism. That's where this height comes in, the 5, plug that in, and you're going to multiply 2.5 times 5. There's 1 decimal here, none here. That's 25. 10 plus 2, that's 12. Bring your decimal back in because there's 1 decimal total in the problem. So that's 12.5 feet cubed, and that's the volume of our prism. Well, now, in order to compare it, we need to find the volume of our pyramid. Well, the volume of our pyramid formula is 1/3 base times height. So we are taking 1/3 the base area, which actually the base times the height, we just got both of these. So we don't have to find this again, and we just are going to use our answer here is 12.5. So basically we are taking 1/3 of 12.5. Well, to take 1/3 of anything, you're dividing by 3. We're going to take our 12.5, divide by 3, bring our decimal straight up. 3 goes into 12 4 times. Bring down, divide again. That is only going to go in once. We're going to add a 0, bring it down. 3 goes into 20 6 times, which is 18. I'm going to keep getting the 20 and 18. We are going to go ahead and round this to about 4.2. So our volume of our pyramid is approximately, those wavy lines, 4 2/10 feet cubed. So it's asking us to compare the two. How much greater is the prism? How much greater is the volume of the pyramid than the volume of the prism? Well, actually, we're going to subtract 12.5 minus 4.2, and we're going to have to line up our decimals. We're going to get 8.3, and that would be cubic feet, or feet cubed. So we're going to say the volume of the prism is 8.3 feet cubed greater than the pyramid. So yeah, I think this should say how much greater is the volume of the pyramid than the volume of the prism. Well, actually the prism has the greater volume. So yeah, that was confusing for me. So anyways, that's your answer, is 8.3 feet cubed, and it's the prism that has the greater volume. Okay, on your turn, we're going to read the question together. How much greater, oh here we go, how much greater is the volume of the triangular prism with the base area, so they're giving you the whole capital B, of 14 centimeters squared and the height of 4.8 centimeters, then the volume of the pyramid. So this one is worded correctly. So the prism is going to be greater than the pyramid. So up there it was worded incorrectly. Anyways, okay, so you are going to do the same thing we did. You're going to have to find the volume of both and then compare them with subtraction to tell me how much greater the prism's volume is than the pyramid's. So pause your video and show all your formula, all your plugins, and all your work. All right, let's see how you did on this. The first thing you should have done is find the volume of, let's do the prism first, which would be the base times the height. Well, the area of the base was 14. They gave that to you. The height is 4 8/10. And you should have multiplied both of these showing your work. So we have no decimals. We have one here. That's 8, 11, skip a space, 16, 5, 2, 7, 6. We have one decimal place total, so don't forget to bring that decimal back in. You should have gotten for the volume of the prism 67 2/10 centimeters cubed. Now we have to find the volume of the pyramid, which is 1/3 base times height. Well, since we already have our base times height, we just plug in our answer, 67 2/10, and now we have to take 1/3 of that. So I'm going to have to divide 67 2/10 by 3. 3 goes into 6 twice. Bring down the 7, also goes twice. Remember, your decimal just goes straight up. When I subtract and bring down, 3 goes into 12 4 times. That's going to give me a 0 remainder, so I'm done. So the volume of the pyramid ends up being 22 4/10 centimeters cubed. So I have my two volumes here. Now I need to just compare them. You should have subtracted 67 2/10 minus 22 4/10 to get your answer. I'm going to go ahead and line those numbers up to show my work. If I regroup, when you're subtracting, your decimals stay in a straight line. Your final answer should have been 44 8/10 centimeters cubed greater. So the prism is that much greater than the pyramid. So that's the lesson for today. We will go over this on Monday, and if you have any questions, let us know.